We often spend a lot of time ignoring the benefits of boredom. We look at how we can spend our time, how we can waste our time, and we often ignore, how we can just sit in solitude sometimes. And I think that's a major part on why a lot of people don't have great attention spans. Speaking from someone who doesn't have a great attention span. Uh, Oftentimes you sit down and start working, and there's just kind of that itching feeling in your brain, and you don't want to work, but you also want to be productive and spend your time wisely. But there's nothing you can get yourself to do, and I think we've kind of created an idea where uh, we have to always be on the move. There's a lot of people, like kind of influencers or those like moguls, who tell us to be working 24/7, and that if you're not, you're wasting your time. And I think we kind of overlook the fact that you can just sit there. You don't have to be working, um, and you can just take time to yourself and think. No matter the place where you're at, if it's at home, if it's outside in nature, at work. Of course there's deadlines and due dates, but I think when we're just kind of working to ourselves, and we have a project or a goal in mind, and you feel that itching feeling like you really want to move around, but you just don't want to, but you can't get yourself to move around because you want to be productive. I think we forget that you can just sit there. You can just think to yourself, and we don't allow ourselves to be creative, because that's where a lot of creativity comes from. It's just sitting in solitude, uh, thinking to yourself, and coming up with your own ideas. So I would recommend to just sometimes to just kind of sit there, look at a spot at your wall, and give yourself time to think and go over ideas, think of new ideas, and just kind of let go. And I think kind of we've created an idea of boredom, of kind of this endless state of not being able to do what you want to do. Usually when you're bored, you're in class and you're not allowed to be on your phone, or you're working, and things are getting repetitive, and you're bored. So that's when you kind of find ways to endlessly scroll, doom scrolling. And we overlook the fact that just the benefits of being bored, because boredom doesn't have to be a feeling, like a nagging feeling. It can also be productive, because your mind itself is kind of like it's a muscle. And a lot of people say you gotta work out your brain. There's different like brain exercises. Reading is kind of like the greatest way to work out your brain. So you kind of tell yourself, over the weekend I'm gonna read half of a chapter, 3 chapters, whatever it is. And then we get there, and there's that nagging feeling, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do something else, and this isn't how I like to spend my time. And then you end up on any type of social media where you aren't able to get like any gain, when instead you can just relax, talk to yourself in your mind, and kind of just get to know your body more. And that's kind of like an idea I've been thinking about recently, is when you like sit down to work and you don't really want to work. So I just tell myself, I'll just kind of look at one direction and start thinking. And I mean, it's like its own meditation, because you aren't actually controlling your breathing, but when you focus on your thoughts themselves and you kind of let yourself be creative and imaginative, it's your body kind of goes into its like own kind of like mojo. I don't know how to word it, but it just does like its own body functions, and it's its own meditation. So sometimes when we're stressed and we want to like create a schedule for ourselves, but we aren't confident in our abilities to adhere to like the time constraints that come with a schedule, I'd say just kind of stop. Maybe push back your schedule a little bit, or integrate into your schedule just time to start thinking to yourself and just be bored. Because not only do you let yourself meditate, breathe, but you allow yourself to be creative, and that kind of works into your workflow. It helps you come up with new ideas. You kind of can reinforce old ideas and like what you want to do. So it's very useful, I'd say, because it's just our own thoughts. And in this society of social media and how to be productive, how to get off social media, because you'll see a lot of videos on how to get off social media. It'll be delete all your apps. It'll be turn your phone into like grayscale. Just turn it off, put it in a different room, lock it in a drawer. And those kind of feel more as like punishments, instead of kind of actually improving your body, improving your mind function, and your just cognitive like functions. So I just take that into account and allow myself and allow yourself to just be bored more often, especially if you're stressed, especially if you kind of want yourself to lock in, as that word is used so much. Just let your body work itself to become focused, and I think your mind and everything else will kind of come along with it. And it started to rain on me.